Hey there,
Hello there.
I'm Ted Misztela.
And I'm Matt Murrant.
We're with eXp Realty, and this is our first episode of Real Estate on the Road. We'll just start off with why we're doing this. We thought it'd be pretty cool to document our journey. We're all in on our real estate business now. We took a little bit of time learning the ropes, figuring things out, and now we've gone and made ourselves incredibly busy with some of the work that we've done. So this is the we'll say episode one, season one, episode one, and we're going to document the journey and the starting from when we switched our licenses to eXp Realty. Maybe we'll switch. We'll start the episode talking about that a little bit.
Yep. That was a big change.
We got our start. Matt actually became a licensed realtor before I did. I had a start in real estate on the investing side probably about 10 years before I did get my license to sell and buy. I had been buying some rental properties and became really interested in the stats and the market and everything to do with that niche. And about 5 years ago, Matt approached me to let me know that he had gotten his license and that we should do some business together because I was coaching tennis at my tennis club in Lake Park. So the way it goes is he reached out and had a great idea, like maybe I could help him promote his real estate business. He could help promote the tennis.
Yeah, some cross marketing.
Yeah, which is always good. And I was like, yeah, that's really cool. Let me think about it. And I had always had experience in sales and had always had in the back of my mind that it would be cool to buy and sell real estate because I'd been spending so much time studying and paying attention to it. And then after about 3 days, I got back in touch with Matt, and the decision and the path was clear. It was more along the lines of, why don't I get my real estate license too, and then see where that takes us.
How long did it take you to get your license after you registered for the course?
Well, I've got this weird habit of becoming sort of hyper-focused on things when they really grab my attention. So I started with the online course, and after about 3 weeks, there was this deadline to take the test, and it was around January, and there wouldn't have been another test for another 2 months, and I was just really keen, and I was getting through the workload pretty quickly, and I thought, you know what, I haven't really studied that much, but I have some background information on it. Matt was helping me study a bit too. I thought, well, you know what, I'll just take a shot, and worst thing happens is I fail, and then I have to take it again. But if I do have success on that test, then I can hit the ground running pretty quickly. And I did pass that test, and it was pretty quick. And then became licensed in January of 2020.
Yep. And then
February. And then the world shut down.
Yep.
So it was like, start this new thing as soon as COVID hit. And the market was interesting because everyone knows how crazy things went, how it blew up, really busy, prices went up. But the first 3 to 4 months, there was just so much fear. Not too many people wanted to go out and just look at houses. We were still allowed to do business because we were defined as an essential service, which makes sense because people need to buy houses, they need to sell houses, they need to move and stuff. But things were absolutely dead. And then at the same time, the tennis club that I was operating had to shut its doors, public safety. So we were sitting there, both of us, really not much to do. But around the same time, one of our clients was about to close a deal for a house that he planned to renovate and then resell. Your quintessential flip. And through some unlucky timing for him, his lead contractor got offered a dream job with another construction company and had to take it. And it was like nobody was upset about it. In fact, everyone was happy for him. But it did leave our client in a situation where he had nobody to do the renovation or the work on this property that had been purchased for the purpose of improvement and resale. So, that's this guy here. He had a crazy idea.
Yeah, it took a couple minutes to collect ourselves after contractor number one became unavailable. I looked at Ted and said, well, I think we can do this.
And I was, my reaction was like, what do you mean we can do this? What are you talking about?
Yeah, take a house apart and then put it back together.
I was like, Matt, you're crazy. We can't do that. Now, that being said, then Matt broke down the 2 or 3 other houses that he had done the same thing on or helped with, okay? So he wasn't coming at this from a point of view where he'd never done it before. And as green as I was to renovations, I'd helped my dad on one of our apartments do like a fairly good refresh, paint everything, floors, took a wall out. I have done some stuff, not much. I think I'm better at watching people do the stuff, to be honest. Matt can attest to that. I'm pretty good at watching people do stuff, eh?
You've got plenty of skills, Ted.
Yeah, and telling them what they're doing wrong. I'm also good at that. It's natural though, because like I've coached for so long, and that's you're continuously providing input on how to improve. So that just sort of went across over into the project management side of it, and that's sort of where we fell. Like Matt with more skills, he was doing the work, and as we went through this, we picked up a couple other guys. My brother-in-law Quinn, my wife Haley's brother, he's an absolute rock star. He has the skills of every trade, and not only that, can produce at like a very high level. He joined the team. He was one of the first ones to join the team. Same thing, like there was no work at the time. He had been working sort of like front desk management and facility management at the tennis club. So he was out of work. So he just came over, started hanging out.
Yep.
And then my business partner, his older brother, lived up the street. He came down. He started working. So we had the makings of this little family business team starting off, and we were pretty happy. Like at the end of the day, when the project was finished, it ended up looking wonderful. We took some cues from a property that had sold for above average value in the neighborhood to sort of get the feeling for, we don't want to have finishes higher than this. We want to come close to this, but we want to come close to this affordably. And then, when all the work came together, before Matt was doing his real estate, his background, he's worked in finance. He's got what do you have? You got some degrees, right?
Yep, so I have a Bachelor of Commerce degree, concentrations in accounting and finance. That's where my academic sort of beginnings stem from, but within that, I kind of became a bit of an income tax geek at the start of that, and because taxes hit everybody, and there's a saying in life that only 2 things that are certain: death and taxes. As a young person,
there's a third thing that's certain. Coffee, certain.
I guess so. I've been involved in family business on a number of different levels. Had a family retail and wholesale operation. Worked for banks.
So when you were doing the income tax stuff, that wasn't full year, was it? What did you do? Like, nobody's getting their taxes done in July or August.
So I ended up taking a bit of time off of life in 2014, 2015, and made a few changes. And one of the changes was what I was doing for work. I wanted to do work that suited me, that I could fully put myself into and feel good about. Not to knock our partners that we rely on for mortgage finances for our clients, but my experience as a bank employee, my skill set and what I want to do didn't match up with what they wanted in the job. So feel that, know what that actually feels like. That was interesting for me. But point is, when I was ready to go back out into the world to be the new me, I started a landscape installation and design business, and we can go down that rabbit hole another time. But when that business started and realized some pretty quick success, it also dawned on me that winter happens at the end of summer, and that making some money indoors, where it's warmer, might be nice. A lot of landscapers do snow removal in the winter times, and it wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to use my brain and pass the time being warm. So
I took the right exit.
there you go. Having had close to 20 years at that point of filing tax returns for other people, I went to a local shop. They're actually a international tax preparer, and asked if I could have a desk during tax season, and yada yada yada. Not too long after being in the environment, I was asked to please work every available hour of every available week, up to the point where it was going to look funny on payroll that I was working too many hours in a pay period based on some sort of labor laws. So there were days that I had to actually not work, but really, really fun, because it was all about using skills that I had to help people, and help people with something that can be difficult if you don't understand it well, and it can be even worse if you're having someone do that kind of work for you and they're terrible at explaining it. Something that I really, really enjoyed was becoming conversationally fluent, which I think is a neat way to describe a topic, so that I could basically take someone's tax return and walk them through it and financially retell the story of their year based on the numbers that paper.
Yeah, we got a chance. It's been a while since you did a tax return, but
Yeah.
just recently had a chance to help out a buddy's dad who was, he threw that call out in a Facebook group. Is there anyone out there that does private income tax preparation? Is there anyone out there? And I was just like, it was a childhood friend. I was just like, Matt, come on, you know what? Do one tax return, help my buddy's dad out. Good guy. And I swear to God, it'll be a lot of fun for you, because one of the most interesting guys I know, and his dad is just top shelf as well. So we put Matt back on the desk in the middle of the chaos to fire off a tax return. And that must have been a little bit of fun for you to go back and flex that tax muscle.
Yeah, it was a really fun tax return to go through too. Person had some self-employed income, a couple of different lines of business, had some more regular pension income, and anyway, it was just fun piecing it back together and turning out a finished return that made sense of in going through and talking to the taxpayer about it. It was funny because it was something that I'd heard many, many times from many, many people, and sometimes people say things out of gratitude, and it's something they've said, and it's not necessarily always sincere. It might be just intended to make you feel good, like thanks for doing that for me. That was really nice, and I but what I heard were the words of, no one's ever explained this to me like this before. No one's ever allowed me to actually understand what it's just like. I don't do anything special.
but communicating something that is probably one of the most complex systems, breaking it down into, a level where, like highly intelligent people have no idea what's going on with the tax code, right? So like that's pretty neat skill. But getting us back to how this fits into the story, that landscape design skill and ability that Matt had really did take this renovation and flip over the top. So there was new retaining wall out front, ended up being this brown pressure treated lumber, gorgeous. The new sod next to that, the black mulch, the rock garden install, the
Great big concrete patio.
like
on the
patio
back.
stones in the back. Those
Well, we did the big deck off the
huge
kitchen.
deck off the back. There was a lot of stuff that happened at that house. Now that I
And
think about
the
it,
nice big set of stairs that led down to the hardscaped patio space. I mean, the amount of outdoor living that we gave, living space that we gave to that property was amazing. But
yeah. And there was like an old shed garage that was dilapidated, and that was like definitely, it needed to be condemned, and we took away all the wooden structure in a dumpster, but then we ended up being able to use the concrete base. We crushed it all up, used it to fill some of the holes for the footings for the deck, and then also used it as like a really solid base for where the patio stones ended up being. Just broke it up. The amount of time spent on sledgehammers, I was allowed to do that. That was fun.
good at the
Good on a
sledgehammer.
sledgehammer. I can still feel that actually.
Yep.
Ooh. So that project turned out really well. That's where the team of renovation guys, sort of started assembling, and when it sold for a very nice profit. So it did a couple things for us. One, besides putting some money into our hands, gave us the idea that this is something that we can actually do, and it's also something that we could do for clients. And over the next 3 years, it became almost a little bit. There was lots of real estate. There were a lot of deals, but it was more like there's a lot of renovations and a medium amount of real estate. And now we've scaled that back a little bit, and our focus is 100% on the real estate. And we still have the renovation company doing work, but it's a little bit more sparse. And our team's grown so strong that we can take the hands off the steering wheel a bit there. We've got an ultimate trust in the guys that have stepped up to be leaders, and it's really cool.
Yeah, they're good at what they do.
Really good. Like to imagine that, going from never doing it before to installing, a dream kitchen over 100K, within 2 or 3 years, and it turning out as good, if not better, than any of the top renovation shops is, a nice accomplishment for them. I mean, like the only credit I can take is that I can't take any credit for it. Just the team's good.
Team's good. Renovations are stressful. A lot of life is stressful. Renovations are and we've done renovations in sort of two ways. There's the work that we've done for ourselves, for our properties.
Yeah, I don't think we'll ever shut down. We'll always have the renovation company, because we're looking for the same thing. We look for deals for our clients, and but we're also looking for deals for ourselves. We're building up a real estate holding, and it's interesting. Like, it's been long term so far, all the properties, but we do have some exciting short-term stuff that when we can talk about it, we'll have a whole episode about, some of the next projects that we're doing. So that gets us sort of the backstory of the last, 3 or 4 years. And during that time, we held our license at Royal LePage Anchor. They have they have a couple offices. They have a lot of agents, like 55 agents, offices all around Nova Scotia. And I'm really grateful for the start. Doug and Ian are great bosses, and they got us both in the door, got us going. lots of support, and it was difficult to make that move to another brokerage. For us, I think that the biggest push for us is the connectivity that there is amongst the team in a digital realm. We felt connection with the office when there was a gathering, a get together. I felt a great connection with Doug or Ian because their phone was always on. But right now, I feel like it's a whole other level because of some of the digital properties that EXP has. Like there's EXP World, there's our work chat, and it's like one tap of a button, one text, and I can hit everybody in Nova Scotia, to get help and resource. And to be honest, I can hit every agent in Canada, with requests for referrals, trying to find somebody to send somebody to, partnerships, etc. So
Marketing.
It's been a nice change. Now, the second piece is, what has changed for us. That's sort of long term, our background. But then there's a story about the last 6 months. In the last 6 months, there's been some big changes. So first, there was the logistical of moving the licenses, going through all the process of that, getting set up in a new spot. That takes some time. Then you have to create all new digital properties, new branding, all that. That takes time. Update your contacts, let everybody know. That takes some time. And then, okay, boom, we're ready to rock and roll.
Yep.
It's like March. And during the last year and a half, 2 years, I shifted that study on, just the real estate market and stats and stuff to, okay, if you want to do business in real estate and do a lot of business, what do you need? Systems. But what it really boils down to, the first principle is you need somebody who either wants to buy a house or sell a house.
A client.
Right? So you need a client who's ready to complete or contemplate completing a real estate transaction. So where you find those clients? Now, typically, in the beginning, you work your sphere. They call it your sphere. So your sphere of influence.
The people
Friends and family. All right? That's accomplished through just, reaching out, staying in touch, staying top of mind, asking for referrals. We would refer to that when we speak as sort of warm outreach. So that's one-to-one. Some of you already know. The next piece is, like, at a certain point, you run out of family members and friends that have real estate transactions that need to happen. People typically have, what would you say, Matt, if you had to guess, how many typical real estate transactions for a normal non-investor person? 2, 3 in a lifetime?
First house, the house that you buy if you end up having children, the house that you buy after the children leave the nest, and then maybe there's a condo or something later on as you try to find somewhere to age in place. But
probably two to probably on average 3.
Yeah, 3, 4.
Right,
Yeah.
and that's over 45 years.
It's a big period of time.
So to grow the business to the height that we're going for, we need to expand outside of the people that we know and find people we don't know. So once the warm outreach is, dried up, then you have, cold outreach. Well, you can knock on doors. So that's one way. What's another way of cold outreach? You can just cold call. You can dial,
pick up the phone,
and dial for dollars.
Dial for dollars.
That's a real estate thing. Yeah. What else we got? In terms of cold outreach, cold emails, cold DMs, cold, go on to LinkedIn, go on to Facebook, just start messaging people. Right? What else? So there's that. Then we get into ways to meet more people, get more clients that are one to multiple people. And so one of the ways is creating content. And that's sort of what we're doing right now. creating a little content. So we'll end up, this is going to be a series of things that play on our YouTube channel that we got our feet wet, started dabbling in, realized that this was the perfect opportunity for us to create content. Sitting in the car, driving, like today we're on our way down to Shelburne. You can see in the back, that's not just there for show, that's a sign that we have to post on the listing we have. Beautiful 2.5 acre, 201 feet of oceanfront in Shelburne. White sand beach, gorgeous. Pretty much unlimited zoning. You could develop it however you like. I could turn into an Airbnb, mint, just a license to print money. So we're going down there, getting that deal set up. That's going to go live. And, what better thing to do with 2 hours than spend a little bit of time talking to our raving fans.
And given where things are currently, this is kind of fun because we're going to get to talk to you guys on a regular basis because we spend an awful lot of time in the car.
Yeah, like honestly, there's
the last 3 or 4 years, there's been a lot of time spent in the car, but it hasn't been.
It was running around to get supplies.
It was different, right? This is a chance to actually,
do some business.
Well, and tell our story because we have a neat story.
So where we were going was we got to exhausting our primary network and looking to grow outside that. Even if we haven't exhausted it, there's still deals coming in from people we know.
Yep.
And referrals. We love referrals, by the way. The one we landed on, we're going to create content. We're committed to that.
Yep.
But we decided to make an investment in online advertising, and it took a long time to figure out what exactly it is. I mean, you're inundated as a realtor. Like at least 3 or 4 times a day, you'll get a call from somebody trying to sell you leads, and it's like most of the time those things are like front loaded. Where sign up, it's like a large ticket item. Pay me $3,000 a month, I'll get you this many leads. So my response to that was always like, give me 10 free leads. And if I get a deal, I will pay you $3,000 a month every month as long as you keep on getting me deals. And they always say no. Okay, fine. So eventually found a guy who said, you only have to commit to 1 month. I really liked his process, the way he dragged me in. And he was just like a really legit guy, like he wasn't a scam. And so, right before I took a little family vacation, I convinced Matt that we should pull the trigger. Make an investment,
yep.
And
we were ready.
Let's get busy. Despite being new to this, the skills that we have from our entire life of collective experiences make us pretty damn good realtors. We'll include some content about things that make us different. We'll do that later on after telling the story. So it's sort of neat. We turned on the online advertising, and trade secrets. We can't get into the secret sauce too much here, because to be honest, we're greedy and we want to keep it for ourselves.
Yep.
But we hired an agency, and they create some online advertising. It's targeted, and it started to work. The leads started to come in, go through a process, and then before you know it, we're on the phone with strangers that actually have a true intention of listing and selling the property. And one of the things that blew our mind was within the first 3 calls that we had 2 listing appointments.
Yep.
And by the end of the first one, we had proven ourselves and were shaking hands to list confidentially and exclusively the $2.25 million Airbnb resort, essentially.
Yeah.
That has the possibility to make over $200,000 a year net. It's like something that would pay itself off in close to 10 years. Mind blowing, right? So super cool to have that opportunity, and we would have never met the guy if it hadn't have been for taking this leap into the online ads.
We absolutely would never have met this person.
There's no way.
All of the people that we're talking to would be, but that's why you do what you do.
So that the system that was there all right, was there, but it was only what you made of the system. And I think that the investment in it really did cause Matt and I to become really, really dedicated to following the steps and the process laid out, learning how to, do these sort of like colder appointments. These are complete strangers. So you're going from a point where you just, they've seen a small ad of yours that has, a good reason for them to want to talk to you, but you have to take that down the road and, build, trust, rapport, and so that, you do end up doing business with them, because, for a lot of people, this is like the largest asset that they have, and for them to trust us is like, it's a bit of an honor. So, we take that very seriously. We've adopted a commitment and an approach to not sitting back and waiting for another realtor to bring a buyer. We are going to do everything we can to find the person that'll buy it. And, maybe that means we represent both sides, but maybe that just means we get it on the radar of the realtor that represents that person. And, just through some of our relocation advertising and work, we've already found almost like a perfect match of somebody that wants to move to Nova Scotia and a gorgeous property that meets their needs. And we're pretty close to a deal coming together that, is, a win-win for both parties. And, the buyer is going to have a story to tell. Look, my realtor's found me this off-market deal, right? And then, the seller is going to get as much, if not more, than he ever thought he would, right? So really excited about those components, and really happy with making the decision to go with paid advertising and to follow the process and to refine it, and then just try to get better. We'll make calls, and Matt will say something, and then next time we'll be like, okay, how about this and that part, would be better to address this. Same thing, Matt's coaching me, what's going to happen here. And at the end of the day, it gets us to a point where we can help more people. So, on our way to Shelburne, got a little bit more time on the road. That's a little bit of an introduction to how we got to be sitting in this car, drinking coffee, sharing our stories of real estate on the road with you. Ted Misztela, eXp Realty. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel to see more of these videos. Like this, share this, and if you want to list your property with us, if you want to buy your property with us, all you have to do is reach out. Our contacts are in the description below.